This is the first time that Brandon has ever watched an entire, Bachelor season. Most of the guys are gay. It makes me uncomfortable watching them.
Daddy issues.
It was so fake!
She'd never say never to Bachelor in Paradise.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video on our channel. Today is gonna be a fun one because we've been watching Listen to Your Heart, like the new Bachelor spinoff, and this is the first time that Brandon has ever watched an entire Bachelor season from start to finish, and he's been super into it.
Well, for one, there's nothing else on right now.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing else on.
It's true.
And it was a shorter season, if I'm right.
I don't know. How many episodes?
Okay, because the finale came out last night, and we haven't seen it.
This is the next morning because we don't have cable, we have Hulu, and just with his sleep schedule being weird, it's easier for us to just watch it the next morning. So that's what we've been doing. But with it being the finale, there's major spoilers out right now, and we really don't want to get it spoiled for us. This season, there was only 6 episodes, like Brandon just looked up, which is, I think usually the Bachelor seasons are 10, and they've never done anything like this before. And I have to be honest, when Chris Harrison was on the shows, talking about what the show is gonna be, I was like, what is this? I am not the biggest fan of A Star is Born. Don't come for me. When they were like, oh, it's basically A Star is Born meets the Bachelor, they all can sing.
But it's also not, honestly, I didn't really feel that. In fact,
no, if I had, I wouldn't have liked it, so, and I like this.
No, it turned out to be, pretty genuine.
Yeah.
There were a couple of couples that were just
really
fun
genuine
to watch.
Yeah, because it was, a whole new cast, because usually these, shows where it's multiple couples are, people from previous casts of The Bachelor, Bachelorette, so they know how to act on there to, stay on the show, right? Yeah. And, they have a whole, fake persona, I feel, and definitely a certain type, but this cast was totally fresh, totally new, and you actually got a lot of really genuine people, which was refreshing after the past few seasons of it's basically just been people looking for Instagram fame. So this was very fresh.
No, the last one was literally just Instagram fame.
It was
literally TikTok fame.
Immediately.
Can we put in Pilot Pete right
here?
My
Can
God.
we
do him
Even
doing the little
Bachelor.
kick dance?
Jesus Christ.
I love
Peter's
those.
TikTok. Someone needs to shut it down.
Not that
cringe.
I could do any better. I feel I would be just as
but
terrible
you
on
wouldn't
TikTok.
Make a TikTok.
But that's the thing. I wouldn't make a TikTok.
We were gonna talk about each couple throughout the show, going through the couple that was sent home if we agreed with it, and talk about the performances and stuff, up to this last episode that we're going to watch. We won't record us watching it or anything, but we will film our reaction afterwards and talk about what we thought about it. We are saying spoilers here. If you don't want the whole season spoiled for you, do not watch this video, because we're basically spoiling and talking about the endings of every episode, and then we're going to talk about the finale. So, stop watching now if you don't want this spoiled for you. It's
only a couple episodes. It flies by surprisingly fast.
And if you haven't finished it, you should finish it, because honestly it's really, really enjoyable. And what else do you have to do right now? Okay, so the first ones we're going to talk about are Becca and Danny, who were the first ones to be sent home. I don't know what episode it was, but it was their first performance. What are your thoughts on them?
Them as a couple, I thought they were fine, but it also was kind of part of a bigger issue that we've talked about a few times on the show.
Most of the guys are gay.
And there are just certain scenes and certain things that happen where we're not convinced that
they're totally straight.
Yeah.
Which, nothing against them, but it's
nothing
just
that was part of the reason why we understood why they went home. That was kind of the lack of chemistry. Which also it could be he knew this girl for a week.
Right, there's that too.
But at the same time, just even the way that he was interacting with her versus the other guys and stuff. Him and one other guy, we were convinced.
We were convinced.
And one of the other guys made it to the finale, and we're still shocked. There was a
very sexually charged embrace that happened. A dodged kiss, possibly.
Yes.
That kind of made us question it. For them specifically, like, I think they were good friends. Like, they just didn't seem to, like, have a lot of chemistry together. Their voices were beautiful together. I really liked their performance a lot. But yeah, then when she dodged that kiss at the end, it was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Next drama to discuss is the Julia and Sheridan drama. I dislike Julia a lot.
Oh, yeah, she is horrible.
And I, like, did not think she was going to be the one that was, like, absolutely horrible. Like, when you first met her, she seemed awesome and totally normal. And then, like, her obsession with Brandon, and then, like...
I am very embarrassed to share my name with him. Like, I don't like Julia. I don't like her at all. Especially after, like, the last two episodes. Which, like...
Snake.
You never know how much, like, the producers change
or if it's
what they said or take it out of context. But also, every word that was coming out of her mouth was either passive-aggressive, a lie, or, like...
Or just, like, her manipulating.
Yeah, her manipulating somebody. And I think literally the worst thing she did was that first performance.
Oh, my God.
That was horrible.
With Sheridan.
That was a cringe fest.
Like, if Sheridan wasn't there and she was just being, like, a jerk to Savannah for going after Brandon, it would be like, okay, annoying, but whatever.
That's the usual Bachelor thing, from what I've seen.
But the fact that she drug Sheridan along this whole time and, like, totally put on a face, like, that whole performance, she was like, I can't go home. So she, like, did all this cute stuff in the performance. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, amazing. And she's just like, heh, got him. I think both of us were just, like, so worked up with all of that, because Brandon loved Sheridan. He was such a little doll. Sheridan. He needed to, like, you know, not be so much of a simp, but also he seemed like such a sweet guy. I felt horrible that Julia played him like that. I really liked Savannah and Brandon together. I think Brandon
was fine together. I think Brandon was like a nothing person.
Brandon was kind of, and when they were like fighting, and like Savannah would like be like, why are you still talking to Julia or whatever, and he would like come at her and he's like, how do you want to feel from this? Like, would ask her these condescending questions, and I'm like, you are in the wrong here, sir. Just the fact that, like, I think this is the next episode, but when Natasha was talking to him and Julia was sitting right there and she's like, okay, Julia, cover your ears. Would you have stayed with Savannah if she didn't leave? And he was like, yeah. Like, they could not have made it through that one.
And we haven't even talked about Natasha yet. What a 180.
She came in and just, like, started things right off the bat. I honestly didn't like her. Like, I don't agree with what Trevor did, but I don't love what she did, because I felt like, I'm all for girl power, but I also hate when it goes so far to the other end and it's just like, yeah, screw all men, like, let's bring them down, you know? And I felt like that's, like, what it was coming in, you know? Like, she was like, I'm gonna send this guy home. Anyways, that's how I felt about her. But then, she actually was kind of cool.
Yeah, she ended up being, honestly, one of my favorites on there.
And she was super talented.
She took down Julia.
Yeah, Natasha calls it as it is, and I like that about her.
I remember from the beginning of the season when it was the Jamie and Ryan went on a date, and then Jamie didn't choose him. The whole season I was like, I want the Ryan redemption arc. I want to see what happens with him. And then him and Natasha actually ended up being like a good couple together.
I wouldn't expect them to go for each other.
Yeah, it was like, it was hard to read them, but then, yeah.
They were a really good pairing. And like they were just chill. They would just like sit back and watch the drama and worry about themselves, and their performances were different. Like, I kind of liked it. And then when they went home, different than all the other couples when they're like, goodbye, like, this is it, like, they have no intention to keep together. Reaching out. Yeah. It's like, okay, then why were you on the show? They were like fine with going home, and they like, instead of like closing the limo doors like on each other, like all dramatically, they just like went outside and they were like, we're excited for our future together. And it was like, wait, did Bachelor actually produce like an actual couple? So that was like really cute. Like, oh my gosh, like they're actually planning on staying together after this. Wow.
I liked it.
Next couple, Bree and Chris.
Bree and Chris.
They're fine.
They're very good together.
They're
both
talented.
very
They're
talented.
very, like, lovey with each other. Something about Chris just makes me think that he is not
attracted to her.
Attracted to her.
Not at all.
He may have been more attracted to Danny. Like, you can just tell Chris, like, they'll always go in for a little hug, and, like, the way he looks at her, though, throws me off, because the way he looks at her is, like, beautiful. And, like, you can't make that stuff up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Their relationship confuses me. But they're both, like, really sweet. Just something about them, like, to me, like, doesn't totally match up. Like, they say they're so crazy about each other, but they don't, like, necessarily show it. But they're, like, whatever. I'd be fine if they, like, won.
I would be happy.
Yeah,
because they're both really talented, and out of all the couples, they're the most, like, they're genuine. I think they're tied for the ones that perform the best together.
Mm-hmm. Jamie and
Trevor. I think they're gonna win. He looks like the rugged, like, Bradley Cooper in A Star is Born, and she's like the young, aspiring pop star.
And Chris Harrison is always, like, defending them.
Yes.
Like, they'll perform, their performance wasn't great, but then he'll be like, Jamie, how did you feel? And then she'll, like, have a breakdown on stage, and all the judges are like, you remind me of myself.
The conversations that they have, especially around the performances, there's a lot of,
like, guilt, and
I just want to make him proud and stuff, and the fact that she's so young, she's very young. She's younger than me, and that's making me feel weird that she's on this show.
Yeah, she's 21. I'm 21. It doesn't help that she doesn't act like she's even 21. She acts like she's younger. Like 16.
Yeah.
And she just, like, is very immature. I mean, she's cute and, like, bubbly, and we love that.
Yeah, no, she's got the pop star, like...
And she has an amazing voice.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel this way when she was with Ryan. Like, I think they didn't mesh well together. But, like, something about, like, their maturity levels seemed the same, so it seemed okay.
Yeah.
But with her and Trevor, like, Trevor he's more reserved and seems like he's gone through a lot more than she has at that point in her life. And...
I mean, according to Natasha, yes.
It makes me uncomfortable watching them.
There is something kind of weird going on there.
It's like some daddy
issues.
But
there are definitely, like, daddy issues. It just comes off the screen.
Yeah.
Like, you can feel it.
You can feel it. And then that brings us down to our very favorites, Matt and Rudy. They're the most genuine couple there, I feel like. Like, they're so talented, and they, like, play off each other so well.
Good together. It's like, well, we literally started this by saying neither of us are, like, too big fans of A Star is Born.
Yeah.
I would totally listen to their cover of Shallow.
I hated Rudy when she was first on. Like, she was the biggest spaz. She's just, like, a mess. Like, she starts talking, and it's fine. And then she just keeps talking and doesn't stop talking. And it just spirals. I'm not as bad as her.
But that's part of why I like her. Like, I feel like I know her. And that's what makes it easier to watch and listen to her. She made, like,
obnoxious noises, though. Where she would just, like, spiral. She'd be like, wah! I would do that. Matt was always just kind of, like, a nice guy. We always liked him. And just, like, them together.
Yeah, I like Matt a lot.
Like, you can tell they're just both, like, really like each other. And if anything, the only problem they've had is that he, like, is being rushed. Like...
Well, they're both being rushed.
They're both being rushed. Yeah. I mean, the show is only, like, a month or something. I think they hold, like, the top 2 best performances of the show. I think
that and their first performance, which I can't remember what the song was, but it was really good.
It was always the one that they used in the advertisements. It was always like...
Oh, yeah. It was the one that they kept playing in the commercial break over and over again.
So we were singing it to each other for like a week after. I want to find it. You have to find it now.
It's going to be a spoiler.
Look up Bachelor advertisement.
It's still good. Fine. I'll be the one to be spoiled.
No. Just look up Listen to Your Heart. Advertisement.
Oh, there was the spoiler at the top.
Do you know it now?
Yeah, I do.
Well, Brandon knows how it ends now.
I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you.
Does that sum everything up? We hate Julia. Jamie and Trevor make me uncomfortable. Yep. And we love Matt and Rudy. So now we're going to watch the finale of Listen to Your Heart, which Brandon already knows how it turns out now. I'm so upset.
We watched it. We watched the
Finished
finale.
It's quite a couple hours later. First of all,
yeah, I don't even really know where to start.
Rudy and Matt should not have gone home. They like got way too in their heads, and they thought everyone had these great relationships.
I'm not convinced that it wasn't producer interference.
I'm sure.
That because he didn't say
I love you,
then was that even in it?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was producer interference because they didn't say I love you, so they weren't at the same level of the other two.
Oh, are you going to tell her that you love her? You really should tell her that you love her.
You should tell her that. It probably just got to him the level that everyone else was operating on, which was fake.
It was so fake. The other ones were different because they weren't like genuine. It was just like I love you, like.
Yeah, that really shone through in the finale.
Yeah.
That neither of them really felt genuine at all.
Like it was literally such shallow relationships. Like their conversations were like first date like conversations.
Which, seeing as they've known each other for like a month, it kind of made sense.
It makes sense.
But like for how much they were being hyped up around them and like just the fact that they got this far and stuff, it felt weird.
Yeah, I mean, like, those are the equivalent of, like, most Bachelor relationships, like, at this point. But also to have, like, a relationship that's not there, but that is, like, way more genuine, and they have conversations about other things, and you can see, like, that they really mesh well together in, like, every aspect, other than just, like, sitting next to each other and being like, I love you, I love you, I love you, and then, like, making out. Like, I feel like it was different, and they, like, thought they had to fit into that certain category of, like, cutesy, like, shallow, and they weren't, and so that's why they went home. Like, I wish that they could have, like, watched the episodes that we watched, because, like, I think they would have stayed, because they would have seen how disingenuous the other relationships were, and that they were actually, like, they could have won this whole thing.
Holy smokes. The whole, Bree and Chris in the fantasy suite.
I was rooting for them. We were both,
we were rooting for them going into the episode.
Out of the two of them, we were like, I would be fine if Bree and Chris won. And then seeing their relationship play out this episode and just like them being so not interested in each other, truly.
They're totally not.
When they were talking about the fantasy suite and saying no to it, Bree was the first one to say, I don't want to do this because of my past experiences. Then he was like, I don't want to do it either. And it's like, but then Bree was like second guessing it the next day. She was saying that she wished they had taken it. And it was like,
I'm not convinced that it was her idea.
No, I don't think so.
It was definitely not her idea. It was either producer interference or it was him, and for the cameras, it had to be her saying it, or else like it would be like the final nail in the coffin for him definitely being a gay man.
Yeah.
Which I am
convinced.
Absolutely convinced after this episode that he is. Yeah. It's mostly their lack of connection.
Yeah. And which I hope for Bree's sake that it's not true, and that they are great, and it just they portrayed it poorly on the show. After this episode, seeing like how every step that was supposed to take them closer and further, they flat out said they didn't want to do, and then it was evident in their performance. Jamie and Trevor, I don't love their relationship, but based on their performance and like how they took the opportunity to become closer and seemed like they had a great time, and not even just like sex, but like just having the time together. They were fascinated with the breakfast they were eating.
Yeah, they were just having like a good time with breakfast, which like we were kind of joking about at first. It was like, oh, it's like they've never had breakfast before, but like they were just genuinely having like a good time. It was like as a couple, it was their first time having breakfast together after waking up together, so it was like.
And then seeing and their performance, I felt was superior just because of like you could tell in their faces just how excited they were to like be feeling this way about each other and then performing so well. And between the two, honestly, I wish Jamie and Trevor had won. Honestly, I don't think Bree and Chris portrayed it well enough to win.
our horrible allegations aside, as far as showing the chemistry, like what this show was about, which was a combination of like actually being a good musician, but then also being a good couple.
Yeah.
They definitely failed at being a couple.
Yeah, they were super talented.
They were very talented together, and so like it makes sense that they're gonna make an album together, but it always felt like their relationship, it wasn't even, I was gonna say it felt like they were missing something, but it felt like they were missing most of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it felt so surface level, and it was always just, like, lovey-dovey, like, well, I love you, and, like, I love you a lot, and stuff. You're the best. And then, but it didn't feel like there was anything behind it.
Yeah, I agree. And even when it comes to, like, the, fantasy suites and stuff, because I know, like, lately there's been a lot of, like, on Bachelor shows where it's, like, people saying no to them and everything, but it doesn't just mean, like, spending the night together. It's spending the night together in whatever way you want to, and just a place without cameras. So why would you purposely turn that time with each other down if you
It was really, a deliberate choice.
If you, if you really, really liked each other.
Mm-hmm.
He was looking up stuff online to see, like, who's still together. What did you find? Brayden was, like, laughing his head off at some of the stuff and about, like, where they are now and everything.
Okay, let's start with Bree and Chris. This is all according to Entertainment Tonight.
Okay.
Because I guess they had, like, Skype interviews with all of them or something.
Okay. See, I usually go about it by stalking their Instagrams. That's usually where you get the most information.
They've discussed marriage, and they're just working on the album.
I mean, why would you get married, though? Yeah. You know? If you got all this other stuff going on. I do like that in this show, though. It's not marriage, because that is, especially in this day and age, like, less people are doing it so young, and I feel like that's kind of an old-fashioned thing to still have in the show.
Oh, it totally is. Jamie and Trevor, here we go.
I haven't heard this.
The Listen to Your Heart finale saw Trevor open up about his plans to move to Nashville to be with Jamie. But those plans, both moving to Nashville and staying together, never came to fruition. He said that he looks back fondly on their relationship together. And...
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good thing they didn't win then.
And then Jamie said she just wants to be on Bachelor in Paradise, basically.
Actually?
Jamie said she'd never say never to Bachelor in Paradise. So, Rudy and Matt,
That's what we're here for.
Rudy has just been going around in, like, a bunch of interviews defending Matt for what he was saying in the finale. Mm-hmm. And, like, for how he didn't say, I love you too. Mm-hmm. And I guess they talk every single day.
Aww.
So,
yeah, I guess there really isn't, like, that much, like, where they could be like, oh, they moved in together, or, like, oh, they've been seen here, or whatever, because, like, everything's on lockdown. That's interesting.
Because the world ended, but, you know.
You know.
Natasha and Ryan. Ryan is still crazy about her. They are still together. They're doing long distance.
Because no, Ryan is a Michigander. He's in Ann Arbor, which is close to where we used to live.
Oh, and they're writing songs together, and some of them are going to come out soon.
We feel a special connection to Ryan. I like how they put Brandon, Julia, Sheridan, and Savannah all in one category.
That was all such a mess. Julia is hopeful about getting back with Sheridan. After all that, she's hopeful. They apparently were in constant contact until episode 2 of the show came out.
Which is when everything went down.
Yeah,
and
which is when it all started. When she, like, really turned on him. And then after episode 2 came out, he stopped responding to her completely.
Good job, Sheridan! He grew a backbone. We're so proud.
And then Sheridan later said, it's a no to any further romance with Julia.
Woohoo!
Julia and Savannah both say they, like, never want to talk to Brandon again. They said he's demeaning and condescending.
He is.
Which, yeah, he totally was.
Is that it? Is that everyone?
That's just about everyone.
I don't know when the next Bachelor series is gonna be out.
Maybe Chris Harrison's gonna take advantage of it all, and he's gonna be like, can two people fall in love over
Oh my
Zoom
god,
call?
he should! Chris Harrison, take notes. Could be your next moneymaker.
Falling in love in a Discord server.
This was kind of different for us. We hope it was enjoyable for you. If you, for some reason, watched all this, got all the spoilers, and haven't seen Listen to Your Heart, you definitely should check it out. And
you should. It's like, it's fast. I think I said this earlier. It flies by.
It does.
Really fast. It's literally only 6 episodes that are like an hour and a half each. Just like have it on in the background, and when somebody's yelling about something or somebody's singing, then turn to the TV.
Yes.
Or when Chris Harrison's on screen.
Anytime Chris Harrison is on screen.
He's perfect.
He's the perfect
Absolutely.
human. All right, that's going to be it from us today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe for more if you want to see more content from us. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
I know she can be so stuck up. Patty with a fatty and $1 million bucks. She looking so bad.